Hey everybody, welcome to this video. And what I want to go through today is something that is so crucial to growing an e-commerce business from less than 10K per month to 30K and beyond that point. And it's hopefully going to really clarify things for you if you're in that boat, if you're under 10K or even 20K per month and have ambitions to scale. Hopefully it'll just clarify exactly where you need to focus and how to reach these milestones as quickly as possible. And this is something that we followed. I co-founded an e-commerce business in 2013 with my brother. We left our corporate jobs and started a cold pressed juice company from the kitchen bench. It has since gone on to do multiple 7 figures per year. But when we cracked through our first 10 and 20K month, it actually went from 9 to 27K in that exact next month. It was using one of these strategies. And at the time, I couldn't actually kind of quantify or explain exactly what was occurring. But now that obviously with 13 years under my belt in e-commerce, I can articulate these things. And obviously that's what I do now for my paid community, my Ecom Blueprint community, where people get help to scale their brands to 10K all the way up to 30 and 50K per month. So I'm going to go through exactly what this is, this concept, and hopefully it'll just give you some newfound focus and expectations around scale and growth, and just give you the confidence to take the action that you need to, because I know that there's a lot of people out there saying, just do this, just do this. And in my experience, it's a combination of things. Yes, we can get really quick exponential scale and growth, but the majority of people do get steady growth. As long as we're on that right track, we're doing things sustainably, we're going to get that profitable growth that we're after, which is awesome. So this concept is what I'd say leveraging other people's audiences. All right. So when we start out, we have a size of audience of about this big. It's basically just who we have access to, our friends and family. As we get a website, as we get socials, as we get active on those platforms, as we start to drive people to our brand and we gain awareness to the broader marketplace, that sphere of influence, I call it, expands. Okay. It becomes our audience. Okay. Now, all of these organic efforts and even paid efforts that we're doing are really effective. And the real key to growth and business growth and scale is expanding that sphere of influence as quickly and profitably as possible. Okay, now that's a combination of, I would say, time and speed is equal to the growth of that sphere of influence expanding. And as a direct result of that expanding, our sales actually increasing and scaling. And I'll use a really quick example here. So we had Adrian in our community. He came in at about 2K per month. Within about 30 days, he had an influencer post for him. This is one of the strategies I'll go through, an influencer post for him. And he exploded his brand to 38K in that exact next month, 2 to 38. Now, he couldn't do that on his own with just running ads or just doing organic content. It was through other people's audiences, tapping into other people's audiences, that he was able to get that explosive growth that has sustained him in the preceding months. He's not going to drop below probably 25, 30K a month basically ever again, because his audience has expanded so rapidly. So that's the kind of impact it can have. That's just one example. And as I said before, ours went from 9 to 27K with the exact same or very similar experience. So I want to go through some strategies that you can use to leverage other people's audiences, because as I said, it's the fastest way to grow. And it doesn't matter if you're just below 10 or 20K per month looking for that next level. It's relevant on all levels. Why do brands continue to engage ambassadors, etc., etc. I'll get into the tactical stuff right now. So the first one actually is influencers. Okay, so that means gifting or seeding your product to people of influence on whatever platform they might be. Typically, we think of influencers on the Instagram platform, which is what 95% of people have their audience on, and obviously push their content to. But it really just depends on where your audience is. So what you want to do is find people of influence that your target audience follows and looks up to, and build relationships and basically gift them products, and you can even pay them if you negotiate well enough for a certain volume of content. But what that does is you basically give them the product, then they talk to and serve impressions to their audience to let people know about you, all right? So your relationship with them, they send their audience and they go over to you. Now, if you have, let's just use really round numbers here. If you have 1,000 followers on Instagram, right, or 1,000 people know about you and they have 100,000, suddenly they're talking to 100,000 people and a proportion of them will go and check you out, right? That's how we get that really explosive growth, is if they have a really great, loyal trust base, customer base or fan base, then the more trust, the greater the trust, the more they're going to trust you, because what they say becomes truth, right? It's an endorsement. It's like a customer review that we've spoken about quite a lot on this channel and with our community, that getting a customer review is 10 times, probably 20 times more powerful than you just saying how good you are, as a founder and a brand, okay? So influencers are really, really crucial. Threefold benefits with influencers is sales. Absolutely, you can get sales, direct sales. That's what we experience. That's what several clients have experienced for us. The second one is that audience leverage that I mentioned, getting new followers, getting people in that sphere of influence that the ads and emails then go and retarget. So building relationships over time and longer term growth in sales. And the third thing is actually content from that. So you can use that in your social proofing, on your socials, in your emails, etc., etc., etc. Right? There's 3 benefits to influencer marketing, an extremely, extremely important strategy for most brands that we work with, and it works since the dawn of time, honestly. If you've read the book Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, he talks about when he started Nike, he rocked up to racetracks and gifted his product to the best performers, right? Because they were winning races, so the association would be with the winning races would be his shoes, right? That's what influencer marketing is, okay? So the second thing is similar to influencers, but a bit more longer term, a bit more intricacies, and that's affiliate marketing. Okay, so you can have people who are influential but are affiliates. So what that means is that you gift them product or even pay them, it works both ways, and they will then basically promote your product. They're like a sales team, and they will then get paid on any sales that they directly refer to you. It could be 10%, 20%. I've seen some numbers around 35% as well, right? Where you're paying them 35% of the sale price for pushing that referral to you, okay? Affiliate marketing or ambassador marketing. Really, really effective. I've seen some great brands do this and it works incredibly well. Okay, so you can do that, similar relationships, but you might have more formal contractual relationships. You might have an agreement of how many times they need to post or how much product you're actually going to give them over X amount of time. But nonetheless, it's basically the same thing where you're trading product for access to their audience, right? And they're actually going to push sales because it becomes a bit of an incentive for them when they're actually making money off it. So affiliate and ambassador marketing there. The third one is PR, public relations. Now, this is something that I've personally, grappled with in the beginning, where it's like, it's so corporate-y, PR, there's firms and companies that do this sort of thing. But the long and the short of it is this: if you can get into a publication, right, where it's online publication, press release, even in physical, magazine or newspaper form, it pays huge dividends because you're accessing that media outlet's audience. Okay, like all of these things, other people's audiences. So again, if you have an audience of currently like 1,000 people, or a sphere of influence of 1,000 people, they have 100,000 on their subscriber base, and they're publishing articles about you and endorsing you, then naturally that audience is going to come over to you. We had an experience here with an organization called the Urban List. Okay, it was way back when, but it had a massive impact on us. Okay, we paid maybe $1,500 and we had a 3-month agreement where they were going to write some articles about us, post us on their socials, send it out in emails, and it was continually marketing to their database to come over to us. It grew our follower tenfold, probably. It increased our website traffic tenfold, and we recouped our investment super, super quick, probably within the first week of the first article going live. So that is a paid collaboration or partnership, but there's also organic as well. So you are more than welcome to go and reach out to authors and publications, say, hey, this is our story. You will have to sell your story a little bit to get published for free, and it goes to their reader base, right? Now, the difference between paid and organic is paid, you pay for the arrangement, that's the contractual obligation. But then with organic, you need to kind of sell yourself, sell your story, right? But the good news is that these publications are always looking for content. So you're doing them a favor by reaching out and saying, hey, this is what we've done with our business, or this is what we're about, this is our values. I think your reader base would love it. So here's some information. Do you want to organize something to get some information to you and write this article? Right, so PR is extremely powerful. Now, there's kind of 3 ways you can do this. One is the DIY that I mentioned, and you can do that with either paid or organic. Just look at who's serving impressions or serving your current audience and reach out to them, paid and organic, as I mentioned. There's online platforms such as like Linkbee, okay, where you do pay to play, but basically you can advertise yourself and people can pick you up on whether they want to publish you, or not, with some advertising dollars. And then there's also PR firms which will basically trade your money for the convenience of having access to these other companies, which is, in our experience, good value for money. You just have to obviously calculate what that looks like for you. So PR, really powerful, really crucial. And easier than what a lot of people think from the outset. The fourth thing could be collaborations, but what I mean by that is more sponsorship. So again, sports sponsorship sounds quite formal, but in our experience, what we've done is we've sponsored events. We've done collaborations with event providers. It might be a health and wellness retreat or like a yoga retreat or something like that, where we've provided juices for their participants, and maybe even like a prize or something, like if they were doing a little, door prize or something along those lines. But we've found that sponsorships and these sorts of collaborations are really powerful. Again, accessing another pool of people's audiences. But in this case, we could get product right in front of people. They can see the vibrancy, they can taste it, they can get a bit of understanding. There's other ways obviously an online format where it's like you could get access or be sponsored within their email databases or social posts. That's what a lot of organizations do for sponsors. So again, getting access and serving impressions in other ways, really, really crucial. A great way to do this is through the sponsorships and collaborations. The fifth one is competitions. Okay, this is typically what we'd say like a bit of an inbound, within your inner circle. But if you think about it, if you're serving impressions outside, right? If you have a tag and win, someone who knows about you is tagging someone outside of your circle who doesn't know about you. So that's a kind of inbound effort from a competition. So that's whether it's to create new followers, it's to build your email database, it's going outside of our circles to get inbound, right? So we're using and leveraging our own database, but also it's almost like a referral for contacts. So other people's audiences, other people's networks, to get people to come to us. That's where competitions can be really valuable. And as I said, you can either run that on your socials, like the tag, share, like, whatever. And then also the sign up to the email database, where you're excluding anyone who's already on your database, obviously, and only sending it to new people. And that's typically via ads, right? So you're going outside of your pool of people that follow you, know about you, and getting them to sign up to your list, expanding your audience. And then the sixth one, which sounds kind of obvious, but honestly it's so important, is just the customer experience, your current customers. The biggest advocates are your current customers. So you need to make sure your experience, the minute that someone purchases until basically the rest of their lifetime that they're with you, is flawless and as good as it can possibly be. Because again, someone talking to a friend or family member about your product, about you, is everything that you need. Okay, like again, we're talking about influencers and PR and stuff like that. It's just access to other people's networks, other people's audiences. So there's no better way to do that than a happy customer, right? So just make sure that every part of your process is watertight, make sure your customer service is watertight, and make sure that you are always doing right by people with any negative experiences that they might have with you, because oftentimes it's not what actually happens, it's how you do resolve it. All right, so always jump on the front foot, always be personable, jump on the phone. That's what we typically like to do to resolve issues, and have conversations with people and genuinely care. And that will come through all of your communication. But whether they have bad experiences or good experiences, you just need to be really attentive and make sure we're always tightening that up, because we can spend all this time on the front end of getting people in. But if they're having bad experiences, if your product isn't delivering what it promises, then there's no way that we can survive for the longer term. But again, customers are the biggest advocates, and the best way to access other people's audiences, their audiences, just through that word of mouth. All right. So I just want to emphasize those strategies. Hopefully that'll give you a reminder to be able to prioritize these things. They are hugely, hugely powerful. And sometimes we, can't see the forest for the trees when we're, obsessed with ads for, this month, or obsessed with the website, whatever it might be. But if we're continually creating effort and intent through action to access other people's audiences, then we're never going to be out of customers. We're never going to be out of traffic. We're always going to be building that audience network. Then it does become that multiplier of time and speed, right? That equals our expansion of our networks, our sphere of influence, and the expansion of our sales and growth as well. So look, I hope this was valuable for you. It was off the back of a group call that the guys got a lot of value from in my paid community. So I just wanted to share this with you. So look, if you want to know more about what we do and the strategies that we teach throughout our program, there's a link below. You can click on it. You can see what we're all about and book a time to chat if it could be right for you. Other than that, again, I hope you got value from this. If you did, give it a like, give me a subscribe, and I'm creating value like this week in, week out. So other than that, thank you for being here. Appreciate you watching towards the end. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.